Right, on part two. So Tom's just giving all this brickwork a spray with that masonry biocide dry rot spray thing. So that's another thing left to be drying out. So he's had a change of plan in here, sorry for the darkness, but he's taking that ceiling back down there because what he wants to do now is drop this wall because he's had a redesign of what he wants to do with his dryers and washing machines and stuff. So that's what he's going to be doing there, that's why he's just doing that. All these bits here I've just been breaking off, scratching out some of these scratches. But ironically, all these have just been filled in with polyfiller and stuff, and that's why we're getting this effect. I think that's where we're at now. You can see the spray there, look where I sprayed it on, and it's just soaking in. Notice here as well, this ground here is wet. So we'll have to, all we can do really is put some sort of bitumen down, or we'll put a piece of DPC down. Here he is, look at him. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get a scratch coat on here because this is so thick. If you look at it there, the thickness of my thumb, and the Renovating plaster we've got, we cannot do it to that thickness because you're only supposed to do it up to 10mm. So we're going to back it out with a land sand mix and basically build it out and get it reasonably flat before we put the render light on. Right, so what you're doing, you just see me flicking it on at the top there. That's because it's a bit hard to manoeuvre your trowel on there. But I ain't bothered about filling all the top and down. I've not gone all the way down to the bottom because that's where we just injected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a scratch across that bottom half. I still need to fill this out a bit more and I'll scratch that. And yeah, we'll carry on filling it out a bit because it's still well shallow. But we can't keep building it because it'll just fall off. So we'll just layer it. My best friend. I just wet that so I can get it to stick up here. There's no way I'm going to get the plastic towel in there. Alright, talk it to camera then. Oh. Yeah, no point struggling with a trowel. Get it packed out. believe how thick this is. Right, fill that up a bit more. I'm going to let that go off a bit. I can't keep building out. You can see here, you've got a bloody... It must be 15-20 mil thick to this point. You can't keep building it up. So I'll let that dry off, then I'll fill that in again. So what I think I'm going to do is just spin you round and see if I could just work on this corner. Right. What I've just done, I've just cut a piece of angle bead to fit in here. If I just line it up over there, we can see on this elevation we've got a standard thickness, so we don't have to worry about building it out so much. But this side, it's quite thick, so what I'm going to do is just sling a bit of a scratch coat on there, let it go off again before we can get this fixed on. And yeah, we need to brush this wall down as well. Some of the salts are coming out, but so we injected it from the other side, remember? Right, commercial break. Right.
Kids go back to school. Maybe it happened yesterday, could be today or later this week. There's a warning, something that you should take heed of if you're a parent or a grandparent. And I'll give you the details on that soon. We've got classic sheet embossed.
That's a better option, isn't it, doing it that way? So I've actually got to fill out that top half now before we can get the render light on what we're going to be using. Oh, this side here is not as bad as that wall, but you've got to think 10 mil you can put it on, and you've got to think about factoring economics, haven't you? You know, if you're layering that up and layering it up with render light, it's going to cost you an absolute fortune. So I think that was £25 a bag. In fact, let me show you it. So it's the same as that plaster I used from Dry Zone. It does exactly the same thing. Breathable. You can run a 2 mil gypsum course over it. There you go. Render light renovating plaster. 25 kilo bags. Blah blah blah. So yeah, and it says there 3.5 meters at 10 millimeters. So you imagine how much there was to do in all them cupboards, and then layering it up and layering it up, because you can't just put it on in bloody 20 mil thicknesses because it'll just fall off. Much like what I was trying to do yesterday, trying to get this lot on. Once you get to a point, it starts to fall off. Oh dear. Right, let's just wet this off. So I was going to fill in this, what I didn't get to put on yesterday. Ugh. You should just be able to flick it on. No prizes for tardiness on this. So you can see from there, if I do that, you can see how far we've got to make it out. It's quite a lot still. Right. Halfway down. Anyway. Actually, question? Do I get well, this way, yeah, then that gets through it. A bit of flat, new structure. That's why I'm still there, so right, do a little square. So I've just filled in some of the hollows. That little square there. And that's what I've just filled in there. Bit soft that yet. And I'll scratch that up. Right, I'm going to scratch that up. Right, definitely slow and steady wins the race with lime render. Because it's such a heavy medium, if you put it on too thick, it's just going to fall off. So you've already seen me put one lot on, and then I've just built this out again. I've given it a scratch, floated it off. And if I run this along here, you'll see it's much straighter now. And then that's going to get filled out with the render light. That corner's on. We've got that corner on. Just leave it now till it goes off. Not bad. I think Tom's here somewhere today, but I don't know what he's doing. But, seen him somewhere. He's probably watching cat videos. Oh, there he is. Oh, hang on. He's doing something technical. Alright, there's the first bit of render light on. Cut back from the end, just tuck in with a 0.5 roll. Then the same on the edge there, so you can get your finish up to it. And then I just use a float with a screw in the end, so you just turn the screw just to get the scratches. I've done that reveal there. And that one there. So, yeah, I just wanted to see how that went before I actually did my proper video on how I do it. We don't need to spray the wall up because it's still got some moisture in it, this. All things DAB radio shite. You just stand in front of it and it goes off. Yeah, it's fucking bang on and off, on and off. So we'll get a quick pass on. There is two. Yeah. So I'm just going to fill out along this top edge first. Good thing about this plaster as well, you can keep knocking it up if you need to. Yeah, oops. Right, so I've got that on there. Just give that top edge a clean. That's going to get cut back in the anyway, so I'm just going to do a bit here, just to show you what I was talking about. Now I know this plaster is thinner at the bottom than it is at the top. And I've got my bead really to help me. So what I'll do is just give me scrape, use whichever edge you want. Cupboard, comms cupboard, comms cupboard. The step ladders, yeah? Yeah. So we use this wall as our guide. And then all you need to do, keep it pressed on this top part, and if you just slide up and down as you go, so I'm hitting a bit of a high spot there. Keeping it on pressed on there. So let's just see how much of a high spot there is there actually. So you can see there we didn't really need to put much on, but where it's missed, you can see where the level's dragged. So where it's missed is where you know need to fill out. So what we'll do is get a bit of gobbler back on the trowel, on the hawk even, and we'll fill out the bits where it's shy. Make sure we've got a clean tool, because nobody wants a dirty tool. The other Tom. And the idea is keeping it moving so you don't pull it off. And I just pulled that off there, but hey ho. We'll leave that like that, and we'll continue all the way along. Now another thing to do is always keep this top edge clear, but what I do is you go around it with your pointer, and I'm making that about 2 inches. Now that might not look like anything at the minute, but when this gets flatted off with the float, with this thing here, that'll start to compress it, and we'll take any ridges out when we get to it. So what I'm going to do is continue throwing that on the wall now, and then I'll check back in with you when I've got it all on. Right, I've got it all filled in now, so any of the flat spots is just where I've just filled in with a trowel. But do now is get all your edges clean before it goes off. And we'll just do that door frame. Then we'll just go around. We'll just put a little indent in there. You can use your trowel if you want. Oh, your pointer. Oops. As you've got a nice clean pointer, that is. And that's all we need that to go off a bit before we can flatten it off with a float, or else we'll just end up dragging it off. So what I'm going to do now is get another mix on, and then we're going to do that wall there. So we're going to do this one slightly different because it's such a size, and this is quite thick anyway still. What I'm going to do is I'll just put a strip down there just to narrow this off, because these walls go in and out as well, as I found with that one. If you follow the walls you can end up with a curve below. So if you do a straight there, and then what we'll do, we'll use the profile, what we've got, the straight edge, to take it up to here. And if I put this on here, that's actually quite straight anyway, that wall. Yeah, so we'll get that on there now. This is quite thick, so it might actually pull when it comes to me doing it. Let's box that bit of space there. That's a joiner. Not thinking about the next trade. You know about I have to do it level. I can't just push it off because you're... No. You put space so it's stuck out further than your frame.
Was it?
Yeah. Look at that. See it?
Just knock it off.
Well, I shouldn't have to. This is all on camera, so what's your excuses?
Just knock it off.
What, knocking one off? No. I know, I've got experience at that. And his name does begin with M, but it's not me. Is it Mark? No. No, not that twat. Right. Let's have a look. That bloody spacer of his. That's how thick it is. Look, you can see how it's dragged it off down there. Oh, let's just flatten that off. Get some of that in the bucket. Anyway, I've got a guide there now, haven't I? So I can just take that off. See, if you wanted, if you was doing it DIY, you could have just done half of it like that, let it go off, and then extend lower and do the rest of it. So we'll do it again. Fill in any hollows. So I'll just push them in, so we haven't got any sticky out bits. Let's take a little score out the bottom because we don't want it to stick to the plasterboard. Go down there again. Right. I'll let that go off a bit, then we can float that level. Let me get my sponge again. Thing about plastering is, always have plenty of buckets of water. The issue I've got here as well, so I've done this to the frame, which is plumb what Tom's put in, but then you've got this plaster here, which is proud of this. So he'll just have to do his magic with his wood butcher in there, because that ain't my department. Bring that round there. Right, we need that to go off a bit before we can do anything else with it. Right, I'll just give that profile straight edge, whatever you want to call it, quick floating. If I just put this there, against there, you can see, look, nice straight edge. Which, you know, it should be really, because you've got a frame to go by there. Bye. Enough, just enough for the city. Just for now, for the titty. Right, we'll get a straight edge on that. On there, on there. Got to make sure you don't dig into that at that end, because it's not that far off. Wow, still need a load there. You couldn't get all this on in one pass. No way, Pedro. Side of me, nothing I could see for me. So you got to make sure you don't push your straight edge too hard, or else it'll dig into that what you've just put on. Back forth, back forth, back forth, back forth. It's like he almost wrote it. Now that's the thing between going that straight edge here and this straight edge here. It's actually proud of that plaster. So we have to do a bit of a magic work, and what I'm going to do is feather it from there. Right, there we go, it's all on now. So I've screeded it back. That's it, just done it in sections. You can see as before, you can see where the screed's gone. So horizontal this time, that's why the stripes look the other way. Once it's gone off again, I'll give it a float over, take out any of the final bumps, fill in any voids, and go from there. Tom's just closing off that door frame there, just put a bit of fireboard on. Look at that, it's like he meant to do it.
You can gob that in with that stuff.
Yeah, I could get some gobbo in there.
Just get it fixed.
he'll get that fixed. Yeah. God, that was mammoth, that wall there. If you think how much sand and lime was on there as well as what we've put on there. But so while that side's going off, I'm just going to give this a float. Now this has been about half an hour. So I'm just going to wet the float. And we're just going to go around and flatten it off. So you can see there's a bit of a hollow. So what we could do is just get a bit of your backing plaster, sling it in there, circular motion. There you go, and it's gone. I haven't got the screw tightened up because I don't want to scratch it just yet. Couple of little hollows there. On there, one there, one there. Right. Gonna try a bit of a wet again. Float even. Hollow there. Little hollows there. And that, and that. Oops. There we go. Very good. Right, still a few hollows to go there, but it's a bit wetter at the bottom, so we'll give that another 20 minutes or so. But you can see the process of it, so I'll flat it off, fill the hollows. In fact, I've still got one there, look. I mean, you could judge the depth of the hollow because whether you think your multi-finish will fill it out or not without it making a mess. Yeah, and then clean off your tools again. Yeah, it's gonna look good when it's skimmed. So apparently this is supposed to be insulating plaster as well. Yeah, there's still lots I'm making good to do. He's done a good job clipping that, as our Tom. But I know clipping it's the best option as opposed to it being a conduit. Something to do with heat dissipation. Yeah. Anyway. When you're up on the dance floor, need some more. Oh, it's dicky dark outside, it's peeing down. Right, I've got this all scratched off now. It's all the way along there. This is going off lovely. Oh dear me. I mean, there's still loads of stuff. If you look at this all the way, I mean, it's still quite tight. I don't know if I believe I've shown you this, but you remember the landing we was working on? Well, Sharon's giving it a coat of paint. Look in here now. Okay, all nice fresh walls. All the way down here. Painted the entire lot. And up there. Yeah, let's tidied it up somewhat. I think what Tom's still got to put some window boards on there. That mesh, you can see that's our anti-pigeon stuff to stop them coming down there and roosting. But yeah, it just looks so much better with a coat of paint on. Let me give you this a minute. So if I lay this across here, got a nice straight edge for the skirting. Also for the next trade. So we're looking for a decent joiner. And it should be the same on here. Oh yeah, baby. That's what you want. Nice straight edges. Now, in all fairness, you could just slap that on, and then you'll end up with a welder problem trying to get your skirting on if you haven't got it straight. Personally myself, I always make sure it's all filled in best level you can, but if you're following the wall sometimes you might end up with a curve, so it's best just to lay your level across the bottom of your straight edge and then fill it in accordingly. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. Like I said, this is going to be the new laundry room. That's it. Battery's going to run out. So yeah, if you like this video, like, subscribe. It'll be live on a Sunday no, it won't. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. It'll be live on a Monday, 1900 hours. Leave a comment, because that helps push the video further. Give it a like, that'll help push the video further anyway. So it's goodbye from me for the weekend.
And it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from
Him.
Tinkerbell. Yeah. What a stunner. What a stunner. Right. Going, because you're boring.